It's the time for the package from China, so let's go. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in today's video, we are going to take a close look at a device that you can also charge your phone with. That's pretty damn wicked. But when you're looking at these devices, I didn't really review a lot of them, simply because, I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't feel it at the beginning. But now they're getting way cheaper and they're coming with bigger batteries in the inside. And this particular one, 6000 milliamp. It's still not like a lot, but hey, it's way better than back in the day. And oh yeah, back in the day, a couple of years ago. That is why I really call back in the day. But it comes even with an SD card included, so okay, that is something I was really finding interesting. But the downside is they need to stop. Need to get. They're like selling these things with very cheap, annoying. I'm getting automatically corrupted SD cards, but it is already sealed or still sealed, and yeah, the first thing that we need to do is unseal it, and that's something I wanted to do together with you. Now I need to figure out how to get the plastic off. All right, there we go. I'm just randomly sticking my screwdriver in it, but is it me or is it just very freaking thick plastic? Oh yeah, this is really thick plastic. I'm using around it, making it all special, wrapping it up for the wickets. Yeah. Okay, so let's check out the inside, because I am really curious, because on the box it looks cool. We have two colors. I got myself the green looking one. I'm also like, ooh, green, I like it. The pink, yeah. And it looks very fancy on the packaging, and that is also in real life. And man, this thing is kind of cool looking. Ooh, it also has a very nice weight to it, due of course the big battery. And what is interesting, that it even comes with a cable. Is this not for the freaking iPhones? Oh, by the way, I am not an iPhone user at all. I think my last iPhone was a third model, third generation, and I always went for the Android. But it's kind of cool that they implemented a cable like this, and yeah, it's kind of strange. But underneath, then we're having the Type-C, the micro USB, a normal USB, an audio jack out, and even a tiny button. They can check how full it is. It comes with a freaking display. That's kind of cool, to be honest. And this interesting choice that they putting a cable at the side, but when you're holding it, you don't really feel it, so that's not annoying. Then the D-pad, and this is bad. Yeah, seriously, like. It's like super, like having a lot of resistance, and even different, like putting it right or left. Oh man. And having a similar joystick like the Nintendo Switch, beside having the click, the ABXY buttons, and these are okay, the ABLR XY HY, what? Okay, that's completely messed up, but the feel of it, it's kinda okay. Then a select start and the reset button. The screen protector can be removed now. It is very glossy, but it is very hard material. The on and off switch over here, where we can turn it on. And there we go. The display. Let's shut down the freaking. Let's put everything on very dark to give you an idea how this thing looks. But it is not bad at all. It's still not an IPS panel, but the viewing angle is quite nice. Didn't implement the SD card, and this is what we're getting. It's absolutely like laughable. Oh man, this D-pad is so horrible. Oh man, it's really horrible. Let's see if we can change anything out. We're not going to mess around with the settings too much. That's the thing that we need to reset. It's kind of interesting. Reset is basically the back button. Okay, so I'm guessing they were maybe using this also for a different thing. But okay, so let's go on with the show and let's check out what we're getting more. So the SD card needs to be put in at the top, physical volume control, and what is also cool, we're not only having a special pin for iPhone, we're also having a pin for, there we go, for the mobile phones. So it's kind of cool. It's also kind of having a newer generation of, let's say, charger compatibility. So that's the idea. You can just have multiple ways you can just basically approach this thing and charge your device. So next up, let's get these, like I said, I'm going to corrupt myself SD cards. We should call it like that. I'm going to corrupt myself SD cards. Put it in. I'm always fighting with these things. Is it this way? Is it that? Oh, there we go. All right, let's power it on again. And then you will actually see that it's going to be, let's turn it all off. Dark room. Yeah. So here we're going to see that everything is just normal now. What I don't need to forget, of course, that we're having the toilet paper medal where it's explaining what kind of stuff we can actually do with it. Of course, in Asian language, but here we're having the product parameters. And yep, it is model DY19. And there is nothing much to say about the specifications or the hardware implemented standards. That's it, blah 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 blah. Rated capacity. Wait, what? Rated capacity. That's also kind of interesting. Here it says battery capacity 6,000, and when it says like the rated is 3,600. That's kind of interesting, kind of weird in my opinion. And of course, the old school AV out cable, because we do have the option to plug this thing in television. That we're going to do actually, but later on. And the first thing, and it's kind of interesting that it has, and the display itself, normally it's being like very close to the front glass, but that's not the case over here. It's quite in depth between it. And I can tell you when you're looking at it, it's also a very interesting way to play. So, but the menu itself, we have seen it before, or if you have looked at my videos sometimes, you see some of the similarities. But the first thing, this thing is very responsive, so that is very convenient. Okay, next up, the one we're going to change out is the language, because, oh boy, this is absolutely like the nightmare. This is the same option, there we go, nope. Pressing reset will bring you back, okay. There we go, English, crap, I need to press A. Product information, that's actually the information of the SD card, factory reset, and the output. The output needs to be set every single time manually, otherwise it's not going to be working at all. Next up, let's take a close look at the reset, and then we're going to get back to the main menu. Everything is in English now, so that is absolutely great. The thumbnail situation, you cannot change these things out. There's no way of getting into another page, nothing at all. But the support for different emulators, NES, Mega Drive, MAME or Arcade, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Classic, and etc. So it's similar to all the other stuff that we have seen before. But let's start just with the NES and let's move on and let's see how this all looks. There's nothing special, just a list. And even in, oh man, they are adding like different kind of file systems. But you can just basically add new games to them if you go to put SD card in your computer. Just want to clear about that. But let's try a couple of games. So let's start with some Pro RCM. And this is absolutely an epic game. Wow. Speaker's pretty damn loud, but it sounds so weird. Or is it me? We're going to use the analog stick because the D-pad is absolutely unplayable on this thing. Oh crap! But you can just hear the audio stuttering all the time. This is absolutely not the way how you should enjoy this old school game. But where I have no idea that the speed of the game is like it's supposed to be. You know where I'm just a big fan of the D-pad. Not only for nostalgia regions, but also when it comes to just the functionality. Oh no, he's going to... No, oh! Whoa. Yeah, okay, that sounds absolutely messed up. Pressing reset will give you the option to make a quick load and quick save. It's kind of cool that they implemented this. There is no like slot, so you have only one for each single game. But let's take a close look at some Mega Drive. I was really curious how this actually is going to be playing. Oh crap, I completely messed it up. Let's continue. The audio sounds kind of messed up in my opinion, but how do I really do it? This is not the way how you want to actually enjoy some Lethal Enforcers 2. I can still remember back in the day that I had Lethal Enforcers 1 on the Mega Drive here, and it was so messed up. I never got the light gun working, but yeah. But you can hear that the same issue continues with this particular system too. The sound is kind of weird sounding. Okay, so let's get into some main games. Of course, we're going to check out one of my favorite games, simply because I can just dream the soundtrack and the way how it looks. I do find the overall experience okay. I didn't notice the beginning intro was stuttering a little bit, but besides that, let's lower the audio a little bit more so. Oh yeah, that's much better. But give you an idea how the D-pad works, you need to press it really hard. So this is not the way how you want to experience. I did notice some screen tearing of the game. But it seems to be that the MAME emulation is pretty good on this thing. And that's a surprise. Absolutely, a huge surprise. It's a shame about the screen tearing. Next up, Yu-Gi-Oh! But the audio already sounds kinda messed up. It sounds completely speed up. Screen tearing. Yeah. No, this is not the way how you want to experience some Yu-Gi-Oh! On the go. I find a little bit of bummer because when you're looking at this particular product, the display looks great, the D-pad is awful, the analog stick is okay, but oh man, holy crap, it's so much screen tearing going on this. Oh, that sound, oh. But now after playing for some time, I've noticed that there is even some white dots underneath. I don't know what's going on, but that is not a good sign. Let's move on to the Game Boy Classic. And man, those two white dots are freaking annoying in my opinion. Let's give this D-pad another try. Can actually play some games. Oh! So man, I was getting freaking ganged by all those guys. But so far I can hear, the audio seems to be working just fine. Yeah, no problem whatsoever, so the overall emulation performance of that is just fine. Okay, seriously, everything sounds so messed up with some of the platforms. What's going on? What? The music is so weird. Everything is on turbo mode. We have Turbo Sonic Advance. It's running so fast that audio cannot really keep up anymore. Oh man, screen tearing, seriously, and a shitload of screen tearing. The audio is just behind a couple of seconds. That is weird. So the AV out is absolutely a disappointment, because when you're going to be plugging in, it doesn't do anything. And that is like the old school first generation of handhelds that are reviewed here on the channel. What you need to do is going to the different region you're having, what kind of display at least like supports it, pressing A, and here it will give you the option to switch from the LCD to this. But it doesn't work because Wicked had a brain fart, didn't put it on the AV, but I just wanted to give you an idea how it actually look. It does have the original aspect ratio, so that's kind of cool in my opinion, so we can just use this thing and play some games. That's cool. But one thing I've noticed that the AV out signal and the quality is really bad when it comes to this. So also this is not going to be a super pleasant overall experience. I just want to randomly try out a game, and this is going to be a Game Boy Advance game. The stuff that we just tried out with Sonic, it was absolutely garbage. It's really cool that we do have the option to use a game system like this. It's an extra because a lot of these devices I find in my local stores doesn't even have a TV out most of the time. But yeah, is this really the experience you want to have with bad emulation? I think not. But what happens if I'm going to be unplugging it? Nothing at all. Because that's the problem. We have set the device to an audio out of E out. But you can see the screen wants to come on, but it will take some time. Nevertheless, that's kind of cool to be honest. So let's plug it back in. See, here you can see the audio does work, but we don't have any signal out when it comes to the video out. So that's a little bit of an annoying thing in my opinion. But how about the charging? So you can use the USB port to micro USB in my case. Don't have a Type-C on this older phone, but just want to give you an example how it works. When you're going to be plugging it in, it automatically indicates how basically like full the battery is, and it will start charging my phone. So it's kind of deluxe in my opinion. We can use the USB over here, we can use the ones at the side. I think the ones at the side are even the most interesting ones. I've never seen something like this before. So when you're looking at this overall, let's say, quality and what you can do with it, yeah, let's talk about it later. Let's first rip it apart. Alright, so let's take a close look inside of the device, and that is also very interesting, particularly of the way how they made this with the cables. The cables are just your typical cables, I'm guessing, but they're soldered into the, over here, the PCB. The way how they construct this is very interesting, but There is one particular thing I just wanted to double check. Here you can see that the minus cable has been connected on the PCB. So if you need to, like see these, if you need to replace the battery, you just need to rip this thing all apart. I can already tell you there is no data on any side of the battery. Normally we can just check out if it's really the amps or at least the milliamps we're having. But if you need to remove this, it's a very interesting with its construction, especially when it comes to this part. Never seen it like this. And here goes the speaker cable. All the other components is just a piece of plastic. We can just remove. Oh, something fell out. Crap. That happens sometimes. And the same goes with this lightning 5-volt cable. So this is what you're having in the inside. I'm not going to do any further teardown. I can just lift it up. But it's very difficult. Let's see if I can remove this. By the way, I didn't want to do any teardown. But here you can see on the other side. You need to be very careful. Then not everything falls apart. It's going to be. You cannot remove the. You cannot really remove the joystick. Everything is soldered into this. Okay, the chip itself is the STJ. Never heard of it, to be honest. Never heard of this. Micro switches for the select, start, to reset. And over here it says the LPDA chip from Taiwan. So this is actually what we're having in the inside of this thing. But there is one fatal flaw I needed to point out, and that is that the volume wheel is basically like grinding into the cable over here. I was just putting it back together and I just realized that, and oh boy, that is really bad of a construction. Where I was not really expecting the world out of this device, because you're also not going to pay like massive amounts of money for it. It's still disappointing when you're seeing this thing has so many issues. But I do like the display itself. The emulation has so many issues. But where I love to play with the analog stick for once, I really hate this freaking D-pad because it is way too resistant and even in different directions. It's absolutely one big freaking disappointment. So when you're looking at this particular product, yeah, if you're not going to pay a lot of money for it, it's kind of cool when it comes to, let's say, the features. But still, the overall emulation, because it's actually an handheld to enjoy and play, it's pretty damn bad in many different platforms. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and it would be great to see you in the next video. Quality control. My ass with your quality control.